Hello you beautiful people. Today I want to talk about ShenHe before she is shown off in the patch notes show within the next week. I've noticed that people are saying that she's going to be underwhelming on release, and I agree with that sentiment, but I do also see that she holds some insane power that might be underlooked. She's basically called a cryo Kazuha, and she is possibly being put next to Ganyu for the upcoming patch, so I would like to compare ShenHe to both of these characters, specifically their supportive capabilities. However, to start, let's talk about what ShenHe can do. You should know that this video does contain leaks, so if you would like to avoid leaks, click off this video, put it into your watch later playlist, and come back after the live stream. Okay. Back to ShenHe. ShenHe offers many benefits as a support, however she is strictly a cryo support. She is able to increase the damage of cryo-based attacks based on 82.18% of her current attack with her skill at level 10. However, like stated before, she only works with cryo-based attacks and nothing else. When you use her skill, she generates 5 or 7 stacks for each character in the party, depending on whether you press or hold her skill respectively. Her attack buff can proc only when a character has stacks, and 1 stack is removed for each instance of cryo damage dealt by a character. So if a Ganyu has 7 stacks of this buff and she charge attacks 7 enemies with only the bloom hitting, then she loses all stacks on that 1 bloom hit. Continuing on, ShenHe's burst also has cryo and physical shred that increases as she levels with 15% at level 10. Her burst lasts 12 seconds and costs 80 energy. Then her Ascension 1 grants a 10% cryo damage bonus when inside of her burst. Her Ascension 4 grants a 15% increased damage to certain aspects of every character's kit, depending on whether her skill is pressed or held. The press increases elemental skill and elemental burst damage by 15%, and the hold increases normal charge and plunging attack damage by 15%. MiHoYo did nerf this ability, as it used to say that if you use her skill again while one of her buffs is still active, it would reset the duration of her already existing buff. It seems to me the reason why they nerfed this passive is because of her first constellation, where she gains a second charge of her elemental skill. This will change her rotation and allow her to generate more stacks for her skill and have both Ascension 4 buffs up at the same time. The nerf to her Ascension 4 seems to have been put in place to put more incentive on pulling for her constellation, as it was her worst since her Ascension 4 rendered it practically redundant. But, in my opinion, it is now her best, as it grants more stacks for her attack buff, as said before, as well as allowing her to have both her Ascension 4 passives up at the same time. Her second constellation grants characters in the field of her burst a 15% cryo crit damage bonus, as well as increasing the duration of her burst so the downtime is 2 seconds instead of 8. Finally, her C6 allows characters with her Icy Quill buffs to not lose stacks when normal or charged attacking. ShenHe is a pretty solid character, while still being relatively niche. She's great for mono cryo comps with high burst cryo characters like Ganyu and Eula. However, she seems to lack any instant synergy. There does not seem to be a single character in the game who makes full use of everything ShenHe wants to do, not even ShenHe herself. I have also heard some people saying that her scaling is garbage, and to be frank, it is. At level 10, her burst has a 181.44% scaling with a dot damage of 59.62%. However, her attack buff, Cryo Shred, Cryo Damage Bonus, and Ascension 4 entire kit damage bonus also works on her, so her real damage from her burst is a lot more than what it might originally seem. By comparison, each one of Ganyu's ice shards have a 126.49% scaling at level 10. Kazuha's damage is about triple ShenHe's, and Ito's bowl has even more burst damage to it. So instead of completely eclipsing ShenHe with Kazuha, let's instead continue with Ganyu's supportive capabilities. Ganyu has a form of hard CC of a taunt on her skill. She also has a permanent burst uptime, which no one else in the game has, at 60 energy cost. Her Ascension 4 passive then increases cryo damage of those in her burst by 20%. This almost equals out to ShenHe's cryo boost and shred combined, but that is all Ganyu offers as a support in her base kit. It's a lot less, but the main draw for Ganyu is that she can also be run as a main DPS, possibly the best in the game too. However, her constellations do provide Ganyu with more support for her team. Her C1 grants her 15% cryo resistance shred when her Frost Flake arrow hits a target. Her C4 also grants a stacking 5 to 25% increased damage taken debuff to enemies who are hit by her elemental burst. This debuff works for all sources of damage, however this damage scaling is additive, meaning at the highest it should be about a 13% damage difference rather than 25%. This means that even at C4, Ganyu is a worse support than C0 ShenHe. ShenHe just offers more supportive capabilities all around, even to other elements. The only features that Ganyu has over ShenHe is the fact that Ganyu has hard CC, which ShenHe doesn't, and Ganyu can be a main DPS, whereas ShenHe can't. Ganyu also has permanent burst uptime, but ShenHe can almost match that at C2, where she gains another damage buff as well. So now that we know that Cryo Kazuha is better at supporting than our lovely Coco Goat, what about our partially Cryo Kazuha? Well, Kazuha offers a lot. He has insanely good crowd control with his elemental skill, better and more effective than Ganyu's. He can also absorb any element of any kind other than Geo, allowing him to fit into any comp. His burst is a direct upgrade from ShenHe's, as not only does it deal a lot more damage and can be any element, but it also has only 7 seconds of downtime and a 60 energy cost. His Ascension 4 also grants all party members an elemental damage bonus based on his elemental mastery whenever he swirls that element. This damage bonus can be Hydro, Pyro, Electro, and also Cryo, just like ShenHe. He can also activate this effect on more than one element at a time. With just 3 main stat elemental mastery artifacts at max level, this will grant a 27% elemental damage bonus for any element. Additionally, he has the opportunity to wear the Viridescent Venereer set, which shreds the resistance of any elemental damage type he swirls by 40%. His C2 also grants all allies within his burst an elemental mastery buff of 200, and grants Kazuha himself an elemental mastery buff of 200, which means he grants the party an increase of 8% elemental damage when he swirls an element. With 3 main stat elemental mastery artifacts, this is now about 35% and can be increased even further. His buffs and debuffs also have set durations rather than a stack count. He's also able to be used in every single type of team comp other than physical and geo. However, he is absurdly strong, especially compared to ShenHe, at least on paper, since we will not know exactly how useful her attack buff will be until she is launched. She also fills the role as a physical damage shredder, which Kazuha can't do as well, even though he is still able to, due to him also being a Cryo Kazuha whenever you want. Point being, Kazuha is broken. So how does ShenHe stack up against Ganyu and Kazuha? Well, we won't really know until ShenHe is released. She might be more broken than the both of them, or the most underwhelming 5-star release since Albedo, but only time will tell. However, if you want to know who I would say is the winner, it would have to be Kazuha. He is just so versatile and offers so much to a team that it is just pure favoritism if you do not pick him over the other two. However, I don't think ShenHe will be bad. In fact, I believe the opposite. It seems like she will be incredibly strong at what she is supposed to do, and I think that these 3 characters combined will probably be the best team comp in the game for a long time. With that being said, that's all I have for today. I hope you liked the video, and if you did, I hope you like, comment, and subscribe. But with that, I will see you all next time. Bye bye!